Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode number 36 of Creative Writers and Illustrators. My guest for the day is journalist and author Swati Sengupta. She is out with 4 nonfiction biographies. Let's find out more. Hello, Swati.
Hello to all those watching this. It's so good to be here. Should I introduce the books to you?
Yes, please.
One by
Yes.
one?
Yes.
Yeah, so this is a non-fiction series for young readers, as you've already said. So this is Jhalkari Bai, Savitri Bai Phule, Birsa Munda, and Milkha Singh.
So, why did you choose these 4 personalities?
Okay. To begin with, let me just tell you in a simple sentence, if I were to sum up. So each of these books contains a wonderful story about a fascinating, it's a fascinating story on a fearless fighter, let's say. Each of these stories is an inspiring story. And having said that, I would like to add a little bit on why we chose these 4 names. Actually, when we read history as students, or the books that our children read in history, a large part of it is about kings and battles, about these battles and who is a better king, who is, who acquired about riches, about acquisitions, about kingdoms. And in comparison, we know very little about the lives of ordinary people, about the lives of women, about Dalits, about all these people have been marginalized. So as an author, I feel a very strong urge to tell these stories. So I suppose, does it? I hope it partly answers, why we chose we chose Jhalkari Bai and Birsa Munda and Savitri Bai Phule. And as far as Milkha Singh is concerned, it's more recent history. And I feel that when we are talking about incredible Indians, that list should have always have Milkha Singh, because of the way in which he turned his sorrows and sufferings into great success.
Right.
So I hope I was able to answer
Yes.
your question.
Yes. Now, 3 of these personalities, Birsa Munda was born in 1875, Jhalkari in 1830, Savitri Bai in 1831. So was it, they are all from the pre-internet era. So was it difficult collecting resources to write the book?
No, books are available for information is available on, I would say, on Savitri Bai Phule and Birsa Munda. But I want to tell you a little bit about the story of Jhalkari Bai. Now, Jhalkari Bai, on the resources, on how I worked on the story of Jhalkari Bai. Now, Jhalkari Bai was a soldier in Rani Lakshmi Bai's army. And we know so much, young readers also know so much about Lakshmi Bai, but very little or almost nothing about Jhalkari Bai. So historians will tell you that there is no archival record on Jhalkari Bai. So where is the story of Jhalkari Bai? So these are found in oral history, in the songs of Bhojla, where she was born, in songs, and in the last 40 to 50 years, so let's say 40 years, last 3 to 4 decades, there were publications in Hindi, several pamphlets and booklets written in Hindi by less known, very little known Dalit writers. And there is a very interesting essay written by Charu Gupta on Dalit Viranganas. So I read that, and I tried to understand the politics of this, why Jhalkari Bai has not been written about in the history that young readers read. So it's about oral history, and in writing these pamphlets and booklets, the Dalits are trying to take control of their own history, of their own narrative, instead of the mainstream, so-called mainstream writing, which has stereotyped the Dalits in history. So Jhalkari Bai, while working on Jhalkari Bai, I read a lot of books on Rani Lakshmi Bai to see, like Mahashweta Devi's book on Rani Lakshmi Bai there, because she also worked on her sources were also oral history. So she briefly mentions Jhalkari Bai in her book. But mostly these are taken from these booklets and pamphlets which are available, which I told you about just now. So the other books,
no, please carry on. Please carry on.
So, the others were I read a lot, but it was not difficult as such, I would say, because a lot of research papers, a lot of books are available. So on internet it may not be available, but there is like for Birsa Munda, a very good book is available, which is being written by K.S. Singh. So I read those books. I read a lot on the history of that period. So it was difficult, but to get these books, and because internet, those information is not available on the internet, but the books are available, and it involved a lot of research, but it was tough, but it is available. I worked hard on it. So
yeah, I'm glad. Yeah. So in one of the author notes you have mentioned, and I quote, "I feel very strongly the need to know that that young readers need to know that there is a perspective and politics in history writing." If you can just elaborate on that.
See, I just mentioned about Jhalkari Bai, the politics of why she has been marginalized or left out, because there is no archival mention of Jhalkari Bai. The others, say for example, if we are talking about the history of 19th and 20th century India, then we are then there is so much we are when we are talking about the freedom movement, but so much a lot of other things also happened during this period. For example, we are not talking so much about the anguish of the young girls who could not go to school, and how their brothers went to school. And the other thing is maybe, what I mean to say, hello?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, so I think that there is this perspective and this politics also need to be told. If you are telling the children, if you are giving them books to read, we must present the entire picture instead of telling them only half truths, if I may put it like that. And history writing is not just about stating of facts, but also telling them about, like, for example, the caste system. If we are not telling them about caste system, then I think we are not telling them the whole story. About when I'm talking about this, 19th century and 20th century India, if we are only talking about the freedom movement, then we are not telling them about certain things, which I feel very strongly that there is a need to talk about these things too. And history writing is also, it's not just about stating facts. It's that politics, I think, there are so many intricacies, there are so many layers of every story. So all those things, I feel very strongly that those also need to be there in the story. So if you're not in these books, for example, in these books, I tried not to erase, or for example, in the Birsa Munda story, there is religion.
Yes.
And then, in the beginning, it was that kind of a movement, that kind of a, the Mundas, they followed Birsa Munda. It was more of a religious movement, and then it turned into a political movement, a revolution. So that I think is very difficult to um, to to write a subject to write, or how you write it for young readers. That is a very difficult task, but I did not want to remove or erase any of that. I wanted to tell the entire story at all these layers and all these intricacies, and at the same time, I wanted to make it an enjoyable, simple story that young readers would love to read. So that was there. At the same time, the politics, that whether it is gender, whether it is caste and class, so all those elements also I feel a very strong need to be there. And it's very essential not to sort of keep it away from the focus, and something only that is popular, or something that is not disturbing, or something something that is unpleasant, or those things are usually left out when it comes to telling certain stories, or narrating something for young readers. So I do not like to do that. I like to tell all those things in a way that would be understood and enjoyed, or also to be appreciated, or to be understood. That's the main thing. Not to how should I put it? To be all there. That the entire picture should be all there, right?
The total picture. It is important, because Birsa Munda came across as a very interesting personality. He's been through so much, and he died pretty young, right? He was 25.
Less than that.
1875 he was born, and by 1900 he had passed away. So he's achieved a lot. He's
date of birth
undergone. The date is kind of a thing, but the year is, I think,
the year of birth is what is also there is a difference. Okay. There's a difference.
But then 1 year here and there, but I think for the number of years
he died very young.
The struggle at every stage of his life and how he's overcome it, I think kids really need to know all of that, right? So you dedicated Jhalkari Bai's book to Subhadra Sengupta for igniting a passion for history in young readers. So how has she influenced your reading and your learning of history?
My son, she had my son used to send her video messages, asking her to write a particular book. And she said she would help him in his history projects, school projects. And my son is very fond of her book on the history of India. So, the number of times that I interacted with her, though it was not very often, she holds a very special place in my heart. And so I wanted to, while writing the entire thing, I really missed her. And I thought that, so many things I could have asked her and taken her help while writing, or asked her for suggestions while writing this series.
Yeah, she was an amazing person. I think she has kind of shaped history for a whole lot of generations.
Actually, my son, his interest in history, he's very fond of history. He reads a lot on. So it started with that book, Children's History of India. And she used to I used to record the messages and send it to her, and she would respond. She would offer help. So she has influenced so many children, and they're ignited. Their interest and passion in history comes through her books.
Right. Now let's talk about the style of writing. Article writing needs a certain style, and then writing non-fiction biographies. So I think the only thing common is the way you research. you have access to resources, and you kind of, the gathering of material is the same, but the way you write, it's kind of slightly different.
From writing
An
articles for
article.
newspapers.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, this is more like it's more like a story, more like a fiction story. That's how I wanted to write it. I don't know, as a reader, how you felt. I wanted to write as a story, narrate a story,
Mm-hmm.
and forget that I have anything to do with article writing, or so that this style I wanted to be completely different, and more about telling a good story,
Mm-hmm.
and not about stating some facts or information, the way I feel certain or maybe the history in school curriculum is I didn't want it to be sort of a boring narration of incidents and episodes, and to tell the significance of a certain movement, its impact, its the significance. So I didn't want that to be uppermost. Like, I wanted it to be a simple story that children would enjoy reading. So that was my main focus. And if the other things are told well, then uh, you know that's even better.
So what was your biggest learning or your biggest discovery while you were researching and writing for these books?
There's something in the audio, something wrong with the audio.
Did you get my question, Swati?
I last question. I could not hear the last question.
Yeah. So what was your biggest discovery or learning while you were writing these books?
I read this last whole year. I read lots and lots and lots of books on these four incredible Indians. I got an in-depth. I learned everything about so much of history, so much of books. I mean, that itself. I think this whole experience was very enriching. So I would not be able to pinpoint as to what exactly. So I read so much that itself was it felt very good. So I would not be able to pinpoint exactly what I learned, or but this whole experience of working on these 4 books for the whole year, and also, yes, I feel that to see that how I wrote, it would not hurt anybody, any sentiments, and to be sensitive. Also learn so many things about the lives of these people, which I did not know about before. Not so much. Not this in-depth knowledge. I did not have that in-depth knowledge. So because that, of course, was a huge
not well known. Right? Yes. I mean, everybody, kids are exposed to public, certain set of popular personalities. These are like lesser known. They have achieved a lot in their fields, and I think they need to be, popularized to the next
more celebrated more, and to be known.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So now let's talk about the Dear Boys project in Kolkata. Now, somewhere all this book writing has kind of led to that. Would you like to elaborate?
No, actually, I always felt, right from my school and college days, I always felt that, these gender sensitization programs being directed at girls, I always thought that it should be directed at, it should be meant for boys, because that is what I always used to feel. So I wanted to work on a project where I would talk to a lot of. So earlier, when I was, I had written this book, Half the Field is Mine. Uh,
The
and
football
I
one.
went to, yes, so it's about a mixed football team where girls and boys play together. So when I visited a a large number of schools in different parts of the country, and I spoke to so many young readers, girls and boys, and I realized, this discussion could go on in a different way. And so I run this workshop series which is called The Elephant in the Room. And a part of it was Dear Boys. So I've done similar projects. So this Dear Boys project was in collaboration with Kolkata Police in 2017. So I've done something else with Barrackpur Police, which is in a different area of West Bengal. And I do workshops otherwise also with children, with very young children also, on gender. So yes, it is related to the books, but it's more to do with the way I think, the way I, what I believe in, that these discussions should be, the focus should be on boys. And that's always what I used to feel, and I still feel. And because of the pandemic, the workshops could not continue, but I hope to start them soon again.
I really hope that it turns into a national campaign. That's what we need. Just a tiny bit of India having access to such information. That's just not fair. So I really hope it becomes bigger, better.
I hope so too.
And it has to start like a ripple, turn into a wave, and with a lot of awareness all over the country. So I noticed that you're kind of attracted towards stories of struggle, be it the stories of struggle, Out of War, Half the Field, Guns on My Red Earth. There's a lot of empathy for people who have kind of achieved after a lot of struggle. Have you analyzed as to why, what is it that attracts you to this kind of
I haven't
stories
thought
with
about
struggle?
it like that, but I suppose that I want to tell stories of the marginalized, because I want to tell the stories of those whose voices cannot be heard. So I like to do that because I think as a woman, and as a gender, activist, and someone who has done these workshops, the feedback that I get from young boys and girls, um, I don't know how to put this, but yes, I think I haven't analyzed it like that, not thought about it like that, but yes, you could say that I like to talk about stories of those who have been marginalized, um, whose stories I feel should be known. And if I can be the person who can tell these stories, then I feel good about it. I like to tell those stories.
Right. And I hope you continue writing these stories and we continue to read them. Thank you so much, Swati, and all the best.
Thank
Is there
you.
something you want to share with the readers? One last bit about these 4 books?
Yeah, read the books and let me know what you think. Please read these books and let me know if they can send you their feedback.
Right. Thank you, Swati. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.